There you are. Good morning. Well, yes, good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone here. Thank you so much for joining this live. I'm absolutely excited about it. This is me, Gabby. I'm so excited about it because today we have Oscar Reyes and we are going to talk about designing your career next steps. I mean, what are those next steps? He is a career strategist, a tech marketing strategist, and he is one of the key factors in the Somos Latinos Club on Clubhouse, which I love, right? Because that was like the first contact we had. So I'm so grateful with, Clubhouse. So, yeah, I don't know. Come on, Oscar, tell us about you. What did you do? Where did you live? Who you are?
Okay. Well, guys, I'm so excited to be here with Gabby and to practice my English because I need to learn. And this is to expose yourself in this kind of situation. Maybe it's good for you. So, yes, I'm a marketing person, first of all. And of course, I have my ventures, right? So I have one venture, which is what brought me here. It's about employability, and of course, all that has to be with finding a good job. Because I know that every one of us, in any time of our lives, we are like trying to find that job that makes us flow and live and do what we want. And this is not easy. But the good news is that it's totally possible. You just need to have a strategy and go with that strategy, and the execution has to be really strong, and you will find any opportunity that you want. But you have to work, of course. Find a job. It's a work itself. So yeah, that's why we are here talking with Gabi, and I'm so excited to bring some of the hacks that we learned in the past with some candidates that we had. And I know for sure that it's going to be valuable for some of you that are seeing this live or online later. Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. And I like that you bring this, like looking for a job is another job because
yeah,
people underestimate the importance of preparing and researching, right? So I think it is pretty important to be aware of, like all the steps that you need to take and all the preparation that you should have, before applying for a specific job. And not only technically speaking, like the resume, the curriculum, but also in terms of your mindset, right? If you're really prepared, for this process. Now, it is our life today is called Designing Your Career Next Steps. Now, first of all, I need you to tell us, why is it next steps?
because if you are here and you're seeing this on LinkedIn, maybe you did some things right. You maybe had a professional career. You land here in LinkedIn territory. So maybe you have a career that makes you proud and all that, and you're maybe trying to take that to the next level. So if you want to take that to the next level, the first news is a good news. You're in the best place to do it, which is LinkedIn.
Yes.
And then the other thing that you have to take into account is that resume is no longer a thing. So is if you're here, you're doing well. If you have a friend that is looking for a job and it's thinking about the resume, okay, some countries still has resume system
Yes.
with tracking softwares and all that, but some other countries are thinking about social hiring. So what the job seeker has to know is that you're you're letting a digital footprint, and it
Mm-hmm.
has to be coherent with what you are looking for, with your objectives. So that's why we're talking about designing, because you have, let's assume that you know what you're going to do, you know what you want to do next year. Because I want to be a marketer, for example. If you are in that step, this is your life, because we're going to talk about how to take that into reality, from my idea to a reality, right?
Awesome. Okay, okay. I love this and I love the digital printing. We're going to talk about that later. You're going to elaborate a little more on that later. Okay, so one of the first things that we're going to talk about is like the resume versus the LinkedIn profile. Some people are like, I mean, LinkedIn is just, like an online resume. So, what do you have to say about that?
Okay, a resume is not, it's an static piece of communication. So, okay, it has to be good. It has to be really well put together. I'm not talking
Mm-hmm.
about that the life is, you can be in the professional life without a resume. No, because they are going to ask you for that document, but you have to
Mm-hmm.
see it as what it is. It's a document with fixed communication lines, that your ideas that you're putting all together there, and you have
Yeah.
to be careful what ideas you're showing there. And as a piece of communication, and a static piece of communication, you won't be able to communicate everything in that piece of,
Mm-hmm.
in that structure, right, in that format.
Yes.
So uh, in the place that you can show yourself in a bigger way, in a broader situation, is
Mm-hmm.
LinkedIn, because as many other social media, you have many functions that you can take for sure into your objectives, to work in your project, in your objectives, right? So
Okay.
what I'm talking about, in LinkedIn, there's one more way of finding jobs, right? One of them is, of course, the easiest one. The you are using the tool of the job seekers and all that, and you're seeing the post, and you are submitting your information there, and that's easy. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
that's part of the job. One of the things that the tool show you or give you the opportunity is to be uh, an expert of your field. And how are you going to do that? You're going to talk
Mm-hmm.
about your subjects. So you have to choose like three, maybe two strong subjects that you're going to talk about, that are related with your value proposition. So if you have a value proposition already set, uh,
Uh-huh.
I mean, you have everything that that makes you different and all that. You have to be sure that every time that you are posting something, uh,
Mm-hmm.
it has to be related with that value proposition. So,
I agree.
but either case, that's a channel that you have to use to find a job.
How? Okay, I think this is out of out of the conversation, but how
Okay.
can people the like in really short, words? How can a person know what their value proposition is? Like, imagine I have this job. I really don't like it because that's more or less what you help people do. Like
Yeah.
they are in a job, they are kind of uncomfortable, they know they want something different, and they're looking for something else, right?
Yes.
So well, how to create a value proposition if we're not yet clear on what we're doing.
Okay. The first things that you have to know is you have some value in all your experience and all your knowledge that you have already earned from your past, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you did an MBA or whatever, and you have experience in that field, in one or two fields. But
Mm-hmm.
what you have to realize is that, for sure, there's so many professionals that are with the same or kind the same situation, with your same experience, but you have some cocktail, that one special mix that only you have, because
Yes.
something. Okay. Maybe in my case, I'm a communication guy. Okay, I'm coming from that field, from corporate communications, but I'm a marketer. And what makes me different about other marketers is that I'm also an ex-sales person. So
Mm-hmm.
what I propose, an idea, or a concept, it is strongly related with the core business of what we are doing. So because I'm not making an abstraction, a concept in the air. I'm trying to connect it to sell something. So I know that is basic, but you know what? Many marketers are so isolated, and they don't realize that sales need to sell. So I had that value in my value proposition, that attribute in my value proposition. So when I present myself to a higher manager, maybe I show him or show her that I have a mix between marketing, sales, and tech. I'm already crossed by those three things, and that's why I have that special blend that maybe suits your needs in your company, and that's start another conversation. You have to find, once you know your value proposition, your professional value proposition, you have to find those companies that maybe they need what you have, and that's where you are going to send your resume. That's where you're going to make your effort, and no other way. It's not like many people talk about send the resume like a massive thing that you're doing in whole internet, maybe not caring enough about the situation, the company, the feeling that they are, and already and
Mm-hmm.
all that, right? So you have to be very careful and make that your economy. You have to think about yourself like in economic terms. Okay, you have
Yes.
limited time, limited energy, and you have to focus on what you want. Period.
Period. I love that. And this is why preparation is key.
Yes.
Like, I mean, we need to prepare. It's like I have this student, she's taking the job in a course, and she's like between two options. I would like to apply as, and she has two different positions. But the point is that, I mean, she needs to focus, like, what is it that you really want? I mean, how do you see yourself in 5 years? Doing what makes you, like, when do you feel excited? When you see yourself in this position, or when you see yourself in this, other position. So clarifying, researching the companies, job positions, job descriptions, all that is so important. So then you're prepared, to move on.
Yeah.
So, okay. Is there anything else that you would like to add in this resume versus LinkedIn profile?
No, it's okay. Maybe what you have to do is
Mm-hmm.
talking about the next point that we were talking about, Gabby, which
Mm-hmm.
is okay. Now that I decide to go fully on LinkedIn, now
Mm-hmm.
you have to work on LinkedIn. So it
Yes.
has some keys points that
Mm-hmm.
you have to take into account, right?
So the LinkedIn profile, I mean, the difference between a regular resume and a LinkedIn profile is that the LinkedIn profile is not static, right?
Yes,
That's the word you use. Okay, tell us
yes.
a little about that.
Yeah, a resume is a piece of communication like everything that you have this little box here, and it has a piece of communication. It is itself a piece of communication because it
Mm-hmm.
has some messages, right? So but these messages here are static, like your resume. So what you put here is a declaration of yourself in a paper. Okay, it has to be good, it has to be good, well made, but it's not more than like you're talking about yourself in a static way, right? But if you're in LinkedIn, you have to know that more than that, because you have a profile that you put your experiences, and you can, of course, every time you visit that profile, you can change something and make it better and
Mm-hmm.
all that, but it's still static. What makes LinkedIn different is that you connect as a social media with other person. But what you have to do with that those connections, right? Because in
Mm-hmm.
Instagram, maybe you connect with someone because you like what they sell, or because you like what they
Yes.
wear, or I don't know. But in LinkedIn, you have to like what they are talking about, what in the company that they are working now, the topics that that person are speaking right now actively,
Mm.
and you have to be part of that conversation, adding value to that conversation. So it's not longer like take connections for granted, and take a big number of followers. It's not that the strategy on LinkedIn. You have to
Mm-hmm.
take care of connect with people that are in your circle of interest, professional interest,
Yes.
and then you have to have a conversation with them. And now that it's not static, you know that it's moving, constantly moving. You have to know that if you are here in LinkedIn, maybe you already realize that some people are posting things, and that's we were
Mm-hmm.
talking about. You have to select. You have to be aware that now you're your own community manager. You have your topics. You
Mm-hmm.
have to talk about your topics to give you exposure, because the only way that maybe a third grade contact that you have show lands on your profile is because you made a post, someone of your friends, of your
Mm-hmm.
colleagues make react to that post, and that amplifies that reach that you have. And then
Yes.
someone that is interested in how to learn English,
Mm-hmm.
like you do, remotely, and with all this technology that you use and all that, maybe, oh, that girl is talking about, let me check that profile.
Mm-hmm.
And now that he land on your profile, he realized that you are the right person to that job. So you have to be active. It doesn't need to it doesn't work only to fulfill the profile, and then the magic it's going to happen. It's not that way.
I love that. Okay, yeah, I totally agree. And it's great to realize, to make this clear, because we have to, make an effort, right, to
Yes.
make things work. It's not that it is going to happen.
Yes.
But, anyways, there's not, like many people creating content on LinkedIn. So you will stand out, right? For sure, you will stand out.
Yes. Yes. Of
Now,
course.
yeah, go ahead.
No. No. That's right. Maybe you are seeing that some people are posting things, but when
Mm-hmm.
you see what they are posting, maybe you realize that there's a place that I can still do it better, because I can bring some article and comment that article, or maybe uh,
Mm-hmm.
you maybe have, if you're here, maybe you have the feeling that you can make it better. Okay, do it. Make it
Yeah.
better. Make a better post, and try to have that engagement that some
Yes.
people want to react to that. And try not to follow a recipe of
Mm-hmm.
engagement, like react
Yes.
with this or whatever to make something. Try to add value, strong and pure value to the conversation, and you
Mm-hmm.
will be looking that those posts is going to bring you traffic to your landing
Yes.
page, which is your profile, right?
Yep. 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 Absolutely. Totally agree. It's like, I mean, people are going to be interested. And another word is authority.
Yes.
It's like authority. I mean, you know
Yes.
what you're talking about. We have this member in our speaking club. He works on his profile. He organized his profile. He, like, set it up, and he started writing some posts on his industry, and he got an interview from, like, a random company. Just, I mean, he's working. He's not looking for a job, but people were interested in his profile because of what
Yes.
he was sharing. So it's like, I mean, it works, right? People get interested in your content because it's not common that people are sharing, their ideas and their thoughts. Now, what about being aware of the digital footprint? So we can summarize everything we've been saying so far to this, like, be aware of your digital footprint. Why is it important? What is the digital footprint, anyways?
Because of what you said right now is so important. I'm going to take your conversation to the digital footprint, but I have to stop here, but with something that you said, which
Mm-hmm.
because it's strongly important. Maybe you're not finding a job right now. You're not looking for a job right now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you're not doing that. Okay, but you have to show your value, because in your company it's going to be valuable that you are an authority in your field, because that's why they hire you.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that's a good thing. Even if you are not looking for a job, you have to speak like an authority, and that it's
Yes.
going to make you it's going to make you a digital footprint that is valuable for you, because you're now are going to be recognized by an authority of X Y field, right? So
Yes.
the digital footprint is so important, because the first thing that you have to know is that many hire managers Google you, right? This is
Mm-hmm.
what you're going to do every time that you want to find something. You go straight to Google and you
Yes.
type it the word, and okay, you can type your name, and maybe you're going to see information that is collected in that web page, right? And if the information is right, is coherent, and has to has to be with your professional value proposition and all that, it's going to be okay. But if not,
Yes.
maybe you are not taking that opportunity for you to be shown to be an authority and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Or even worse, you have a digital footprint that is not connected with what you want to do, and then you have to start working on clean up that that digital footprint, right? If
Yes.
you Google your name, try to do it. Google your name, and you will see your tweets, you will see your LinkedIn post,
Mm-hmm.
you will see your blog, you will see your picture, everything is so public right now. So
Yes.
it is of course it's a challenge. Many of us don't want that kind of exposure, but we are
Mm-hmm.
already in that situation. So even if you don't want it, you're exposed right now.
People will find you.
Yeah.
People will find you, whether you like it or not,
Yeah,
right?
it's like a movie. Yeah,
Yes.
it's like a movie for Lion Nielsen or whatever, but
Exactly. I'll find you.
I will find you.
Absolutely.
But it's like this. So now that we are living in this digital connected remote work world,
Mm-hmm.
uh, hybrid world,
Yes.
we need to be really aware that we are not going to knock a door and give a resume paper. We are showing ourselves in a digital
Mm-hmm.
landscape. Period.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's scary, but interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, now that you have this digital footprint, there is something that we have to share, right? We were talking at the beginning about the value proposition. I also call it a personal brand statement. Like, who are you? You know, as a person, as a professional, what do you have to offer, etc. And one way to do this is to define our big three. Well, we always talk about the big three, you know, because it's a really good way to focus. But
Yes.
what about the big three in terms of your value proposition? How would that be?
Yeah, where are you come from? Which is your field, your preparation, where you're good at, when you're so
Mm-hmm.
strong that you have any doubt about your that activity. Maybe in my field, I don't want to sound like I'm know everything, because I know I just don't. But maybe the field that that I feel good about it is communications. I'm good at that. So my big three, those big three, the one is communication, because this is my base. I came from communication. Okay, the
Okay.
second big three uh, would be which is my purpose, which is my intention, where I want to go, what is
Mm-hmm.
my interest. Well, I'm a communication guy, interest in the field of technology. So I've been working in the industry of technology for 10 years in startups and blah blah blah. And so I already have two. And maybe the three one is that kind of thing that make me different. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I have a style of leadership that is blah blah blah, or maybe I'm interested in that kind of organizations that are looking for make an impact on the weather of the climate of the okay. So
Mm-hmm.
if
Yeah.
you're connected those three things, you are giving a sense of knowing yourself as a professional,
Mm-hmm.
You're given the sense of direction that you want to go and the impact
Mm-hmm.
that you want to left behind you when you stand up of the table and you go out, right?
Yep.
So yes, you have to connect those big trees, and in a statement, in a short statement, in
Mm-hmm.
LinkedIn it's called extract or extracto en español.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have that in your profile, very well curated, because it has to be like really clean, every
Mm-hmm.
word, every comma, every point. It has to be so curated that you read it and someone else read it and feels like wow, yeah,
This is the person I'm looking for.
yeah, exactly. It hasn't to be like I'm the ninja marketer. Come on, guys,
Yes.
that's already old fashioned, right? It
Yes.
has to be pure and clear, but moving. You have to read it, and you have from a person. I read your value proposition, and I wow, I have to be like, okay, she knows everything about that field, and she has direction, and she has a purpose, and okay,
Mm-hmm.
I like that. Because you know
Absolutely.
what? You know why? Because if you're showing direction and purpose,
Mm-hmm.
easy for a higher manager to think that if I give you a strong project that you like, you're going to have
Yes.
that direction and that driven behavior. So it's important.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Intentional. I
Yeah,
would add to everything that you're saying, be intentional,
exactly.
right?
You
Because
read my mind right now.
I mean, on
Yeah,
Instagram, everyone is like, having fun, and people are like, pictures and stuff. I mean, there's like a having fun, intention, right? Same on Facebook, but on LinkedIn, it's like people are there because of business. They are there
exactly,
because of jobs. So
exactly,
you gotta be intentional, because you know that people who are going to see you in this platform, they are interested in professional issues. So you have to be intentional in every single word you use. So whenever read it, they are like, oh, this is what I was looking for, right?
exactly, exactly. That's
This
right.
is what I need.
Yes.
Okay. Then you said, I mean, we were talking about going totally digital. What does that mean?
That you don't have to put your expectations on do static pieces of communication. You have to understand that the digital world is constantly moving, and the way that we develop internet is it's a communication moving parts that are always changing in the form and in the ways of making engagement and a contact and all that,
Mm-hmm.
right? So if you're aware that the digital world is always changing, moving, showing something new and all
Yes.
that, you have to be part of that situation. So in your LinkedIn, it's not a good strategy to put your information and be cross arms and
Yes.
waiting for a miracle to happen. It's not going to happen. So because internet is a digital landscape, and it moves like we are talking now. It's constantly moving, changing, showing something new, uh, having another conversation about another topic, and you have to be in that wave. So
Yes.
to be in that wave is to be active. So
Yep.
you have to talk, make posts, make lives like you do, give to the person that you are interested. Maybe you can send an email and write something that is valuable for that person. It's not like, hi, give me a job. Okay, it's not like, try to engage that person, try to connect, to give value. And then
Yes.
when you are constantly giving value, all that value that you are exposing there, you will be able to capture that value and to convert that. But you
Mm-hmm.
cannot convert value if you're not giving value. It's not going to happen.
Yes. I like it. And something that we were talking about before is that regarding this going totally digital is now that you said something like you're not now competing with your community, like your local community. Now
Exactly.
you're competing with the world. But of course, it is more challenging. Absolutely, you're competing with the world, but also you have even more opportunities, right?
Yeah, that's so right. You're now that you're in the digital footprint, in a digital landscape. I'm sorry, and you
Mm-hmm.
are in that arena, and you are trying to find your new job there and your opportunities there. The good news is now that the world can hire you, right?
Yes. Yes.
You're finding a job not only in Argentina, Chile, or Brazil or whatever. You're now finding a job in wherever in the world, right?
Yes. Yep. Yep.
So
Yep.
in order to do that, that is totally possible in these conditions that we are now working in the hybrid and remote work and all that,
Mm-hmm.
that models of working that we have now. Uh, you have to know that you have to be part of that conversation, but that world class conversation. So in order to be attractive in that kind of arena, you have to be a
Mm-hmm.
world class leader or professional. So
Yes.
now that if you are happy with your profile in Spanish,
Mm-hmm.
okay, you have to add the English profile. It's
Yes.
mandatory because Spanish
Yes.
is a good language. Okay, we know that, but English is the more spread international language in the world. So uh, you cannot hide that. You have to put work on that and have your
Yes.
conversations in English and post in English. And okay, you have a Latin name, Oscar Reyes Vera, which is a Latin sound. Okay, but you have to speak in English because
Yes.
this is the world that you're living. Every time a big company hires you, you will be working with Americans, Brazilians,
Mm-hmm.
Russians, Spaniards, Japanese, and
Yes.
it's a diverse culture that we're living now. And you're going to speak English, so you have to disconnect yourself from that be ashamed of speaking English or what they are going to think if I'm writing in English.
Yes.
Okay,
Who
you,
cares?
yeah, who cares?
I love
Yeah,
it. Yeah, yeah. Absolutely. And it is great because I mean, we are native, well, in our case, we are native Spanish speakers, but it's like it doesn't matter. I mean, you can just start writing and sharing little by little because people are kind of scared like I'm not going to write an article in English. You don't have to, right? Actually, you can create short posts and you can do them at the beginning bilingual. Like you have the first,
exactly,
short paragraph in Spanish, and then you have the second paragraph in English, right? And it doesn't, it looks great, it looks organized, and it doesn't have to be that long, right?
exactly,
Okay, we
exactly.
have to go live again with this title, Being a World Class Professional. Okay, so you can give us all those tips.
Yes.
Now, something else is like you are your own brand, which is the same, things about the digital footprint, going totally digital.
Exactly.
What's your value proposition? You're your own brand. Some people are like, oh, but I work in a company in an office. How can I have my own brand if I work in a company in an office? I mean, I'm not an independent or I'm not an entrepreneur. So why should I have a personal brand? Why should I have my own brand if I'm an executive assistant, for example? So why a professional who's in an office, for example, working in a company should have a personal brand? Why is that?
Okay, because every time you're an employee in a good situation, it's good for you. You're adding value to that company. That company is related with you, with your work and all that. But we already know that things could happen, and maybe you're find yourself out of that company for whatever reason. So if you're out of the company for whatever reason, and you don't have your own brand, what is going to happen is that you first will have to work on your own brand, and then you
Mhm.
will have to work on finding the new job, because finding the new job now is in the basics of that you're having a brand because we are living in a digital landscape right now.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it's very important to say to the people, to the candidates, that they have to have their own brand always, even if they are in the good situation with the employee, because the employer, I'm sorry, because if you're in a good situation, you're in the best situation to build your brand, to develop your brand with time, with care, and you're in the
Yes.
best situation. And if they say you something because that's what you're scared about, that they are going to notice, and that they're going to see that you're working like an authority of your field, it's good for them.
Mm-hmm.
Tell them no, but it's good for you, because
Yes.
I'm an authority here, so I know about these topics and I want to collaborate
Mm-hmm.
with you in this field. Maybe some of the companies have some restrictions about talking about some topics, right? Because if you're working,
Absolutely.
you have to be aware with your HR manager which topics do you want you can talk and one you cannot talk, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're not talking about company issues or confidential issues. You're talking about concepts of marketing, big trends, maybe your opinion about some new product. It's not something that is going to hurt your employee relationship with your employer.
Yes.
So
Yep, yep, yep. It's a win-win
yeah,
situation, right? Absolutely.
it has
Okay,
to
I
be.
like that. Yep.
No, it's okay. So it just has to be because you have to take, that feeling of being scared that what they are going to think about. You have to
Of
take
course.
that feeling and throw it.
Yep.
It paralyzes you and it makes you make nothing. So if you're here and you're seeing this live or you're seeing later, maybe
Mm-hmm.
it's because you want to make next steps on 2022. So
Yes.
it's required from you that you take action. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. Those are the next steps,
yeah,
Those are the next steps. Okay. Well, if you have a talent, we have to show it because, the world needs, the talent that you have. The world needs those words that you gotta say. It's like people sometimes are scared of showing, their true value, but the people, the world needs it, and it's incredible. But you don't know who's looking at you.
yes.
There's always people looking at you, reading what you write, reading your comments, and people are interested, right? And people are learning. So that's important.
Yes, of course. In this case, I'm not the best English speaker, but I'm, with any kind of hard feeling about making this conversation, and I knew it that if you are Gabby is inviting me to a meeting, to a live, it's going to be in English because you're like this, so this is what you do for a living. So I was like, okay, I just jump in. This is my way to communicate. Maybe it's not the best in the world, but I can do communicate. So that's good.
Mhm.
And I'm showing other talents, not that only talent. I have other things to show to the world. And yes, of course, you have to do it because you're in that digital arena that we were
Yeah.
talking about, and everyone could see the value that you have, but you're not showing. And if you're not showing yourself, they're not going to see it. So show yourself, show what you do, show what you are best at, and maybe someone in India needs exactly what
Mm-hmm.
you need, and
Yes.
they want to pay up for that, and maybe you find another opportunity that is suited for you, making your talent uh, into account, living by your talent in not and not and in a boring work that you don't like,
Yes, of
right?
course. I agree.
So
I totally agree.
give your talent the opportunity to be shown, to be seen, and to connect you with the next steps of your professional life.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. And there are two more things that we're going to talk about, which is our health is going to be challenged next year, right? So it's not only because of COVID, right? But because of us and the fact that we're working from home all the
Yes,
time. So what was that about?
because in this hybrid and remote work that we are living now, which is secure from us for us in a way that maybe we're at home and we are not exposing ourselves to whatever. Um, but what happens is that we are animals of community, and we need to talk with to each other and to have conversation and to have some meetings, not only for work. We have to be healthy to be a top performer. So
Mm-hmm.
if you want to be one great leader, and you want to be a great manager or
Mm-hmm.
whatever, you have to be healthy. That's the first thing. You have to be healthy. And it happens that you have to be healthy in your physical way, and you have to be healthy in your mental way. So you have to relate with people, you have to talk about your interests, and
Mm-hmm.
you have to be empathic what the other people are thinking about. Look at this, you are now in a different city than I am, and we are having a good experience here, a nice conversation. So
Yes.
we're this is the best we can do right now. So it's okay. Let's do it. Let's do it with quality. Let's talk about whatever we want to talk, and that's
Mhm.
good. That's good mental health. Let's do that, because the world, it's going to need you at your best.
Yes, yes. There's one. I don't know if you have heard her. Like I think she's called Marie Forleo, and she's like, the world needs that gift that you only have. I mean, we all have something, we all do, and the world needs that, you know.
Yes.
So, what about companies, and this is another idea, like going into these next steps, that is, companies are hiring top performers. So what does that mean now, and why top performers?
Because all in maybe your next work, it's going to be in a digital world also, because you're being hiring in a digital way, and you're going
Mm-hmm.
to work in a digital world. So to be a top performer means that you will be able to adapt yourself to whatever the needs of the
Mm-hmm.
company happens. I don't know. Maybe last year and the year prior to that, where we were changing a lot, and you have to be adaptative, and you have to change yourself, and see what the trends are, and show that you can adapt yourself to that kind of changes that the world is making, right? So
Mm-hmm.
companies are not longer hiring um, I don't know how to say it, but free riders, right? You're hiring leaders, because
Yes.
because I want to trust on you that you're going to do your work from your home. So I need to take a project, give it to you, and you have to do it by yourself, and then
Mm-hmm.
you came back with the project done. So yes, we need leaders. So that's why the companies are asking for top performers, leaders, and people that are aware that in this world has to work like projects, right?
Yeah.
Making projects happen.
Yep, yep, yep. I
Hmm.
agree. Awesome. Okay, that's awesome. There's someone here who asks, probably the person joined a little bit later, but he's asking, like, how can we develop our own brand? How can we develop our own brand? We already talked about, like the big three,
Yes,
going digital, digital footprint. Is there anything that you would like to add as a way to wrap up with that question, the
of
whole
course,
conversation?
of course. The first things that you have to think about is to those big three key points that you have to. Okay, let's try this. If you're going to write a paragraph of yourself, what will be the structure that you use to talk about yourself? And
Mm-hmm.
you have three key points that you have to, which is your basis, what you know, strongly know. in my case, it's communications, right? What
Mm-hmm.
is your purpose? Where are you going with? What is your interest? This is the second point. I'm interested in working in marketing field in technology companies. Okay, this is my purpose. And then the third point is my bigger or broader interest. It's like I want to give a legacy of an impact of climate or in the technology field. I want to make things happen in the way that blah 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 whatever. So you have to
Mm-hmm.
connect three things, at least three things in that paragraph in order to have your brand. Once you have that concept of yourself, of your professional self, you have your value proposition, your professional value
Yes.
proposition. And starting for that, you can go LinkedIn and maybe the colors and the infographics that you want and all that. But you cannot go to the colors, to the black, to the yellow like you have
Mm-hmm.
or like I have uh, prior to have this value proposition, professional value
Yes.
proposition. So start there.
Right. I agree. It's like everyone thinks of personal brand like colors and fonts, right?
Yes,
And it's not only that. It's like that's additional, right? But the most
exactly,
important thing is, like what is the value that you're offering. Okay,
exactly.
I'm sharing here in the comments your the link to your LinkedIn profile, and I'm going to share the link to setting jobs. Now that we have talked about it, let's talk about setting jobs. What about that? What's your job there? What did you do? What is
Okay,
setting jobs?
okay. Maybe you know what happened to me that some people reached me 4 years prior to this and
Mm-hmm.
to help them to find a job because they saw me finding good jobs, and that's why I start with that curiosity of find which are the structure in the good profile, which is the structure in a good resume, which is a good
Mm-hmm.
interview, and why things work that way and all that. And I started to play with those concepts and those forms and pieces of communication that are LinkedIn, resume, and all that. And one friend became five friends with a new job, and then five friends became 200 and friends with new jobs, and then I realized that okay, I have something, and I start to make a service
Mm-hmm.
to make them find that job that they want. Okay, because it's so easy to realize when you're working when you're seeing someone working that is connected with what they want, right? If you see
Mm-hmm.
someone that is passionate, you, you just notice, and that
Yes.
I love that. So I have to. And we realize in the other hand that companies are constantly talking that they cannot find any kind of talent that they need. And I was okay, I see this talent that the here, and I see companies in this side that are saying that they don't have talent. Okay, no, I have to be in the middle and connect to each other. Maybe they are speaking in different languages, and that's what happened. The
Yes.
companies are speaking in jobs, static job descriptions that are made from the 80s,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe our candidates are talking not very elaborated or structured,
Yes.
and you have to calibrate that. So that's all, and the magic
Awesome.
happens. Yeah.
And the magic happens. Yeah. Yeah. You're right. You're right. That's how it works. Okay. I love this. I don't know. Well, we talked about hard skills and soft skills. Now, guys, we will have another live in January with and we will talk about this new process in 2022 and what are going to be like the different challenges that we will have because it's not that easy now that we have on this pandemic situation and things have changed, right? So one of the last things that I would like to mention before we finish, and Oscar, I don't know if you have anything else that you would like to share, is this: your communication on LinkedIn should have a purpose. So that is also about the personal brand, that is also related to the digital footprint, that is also related to your big three, right? Your value proposition, being a top performance, having your own brand. So what does having your communicating on LinkedIn with a purpose, what does that mean? Why is that important?
Because it is going to drive you to connect you with your ultimate purpose. So
Mm-hmm.
you said it already. You have to be intentional. Every effort that you do, every communication, every word that you spread in on the digital landscape, it has to be in a way that it helps you to connect you with what you want to do. So you have to take care of that. So
Mm-hmm.
yes, we were talking about that. You have to think in yourself, like, with limited time per day, because we all already have the set 24 hours for everyone,
Mm-hmm.
and that's our time, and we need to rest, to eat, and all that.
Yes.
And so if you're going to make an effort, make it right. And
Yes.
so take that energy and set it up in a way that is good for your purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Intentional.
Yes.
Again,
Again.
that it
Yeah.
is intentional. Okay, awesome. Yep, I think that's it. I don't know if you would like to add anything else. I'm so happy that you were here with us. Designing, like the next steps in our career is not easy, because it's like you need to do some, like personal, individual work first, you know,
Exactly.
to be aware of what is it that you do, what is it that you want to do, right? To
Yeah.
know
Exactly.
yourself first.
Exactly. Maybe we are talking about the first of those next steps that you have to. So the first and the most important, which is know your value, show your
Mhm.
value in a clear purpose, in a clear value proposition, and
Mhm.
communicate that very well, because this is the start of any. Then you can talk about tactics, when to post, how to post, with which language, which topics, with what kind of photographs that I can use. Those are tactics.
Yes.
But the strategic that you need, the first step in your strategic, it's going to know your value proposition very
Mhm.
well. Period.
I agree. Awesome. This is so helpful. Guys, if you're watching here, if you have any questions, or if you're watching the replay and you have any questions, let us know. We'll be glad to answer anything. I will ask Oscar to come back, like 100 times, because there's so much that you got to say, and there's so much that we got to learn from you too. Your LinkedIn profile is in the comments. Your setting job website is in the comments too. And guys, please join the Somos Latinos Club on Clubhouse, because there's so much value there. And I just wanted to highlight, like the job that you're doing there, because it's awesome too. Really.
Thank you, Gabi. Thank you for that, and I'm so glad to be here with you. I was like honored, like when you invited me here, because I know that you make everything intentional and really good structure, and you are doing all very well. So I was so flattered to be here. So maybe, okay, let's do this again and on January, and let's make it happen.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to write some bullet points with the main ideas, and I'm going to post it here in the comments and on Instagram, so people can get, like the most important ideas from this live. And yeah, thank you so much. I absolutely appreciate it. I'll see you again anytime soon. And guys, if you have questions, just let us know. Okay. Thank you so much for your time, Oscar.
Thank you, Gabi. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks for being here. Absolutely.